Cause I'm about that. Cause I'm about that. I'm about that come up, running up on them fools that are talking foolish. Try to get them funds up, killing them mics just like I ran in jewels. And y'all gonna get done up front, knowing that kid with an attitude. But you can't really blame this motherfucker to do what he had to do. I'm about that cash dripping, I'm getting it on and off the market. Not about that VIP, not me, not never been a fan of carpets. All about that RIP for all of my Jesus gone departed. All about that finish what I started, I'm about that.
Top down, like you're not ready. We ride, we about that. So high, we see the whole city. We own the night. Top down, like you're not ready. We ride, we about that. So high, we see the whole city. We own the night.
Know that I'm about it, want a man I can bring the drama. But it ain't by chance I'm fucking rapping, you don't really want a problem. Made a little cash in the back end, but still rapping, they call me starving. Yeah, y'all gotta ask who the man is, hope I'm gonna be like, beg your pardon. I'm about that.
Top down, like you're not ready. We ride, about that. So high, we see the whole city. We own the night. Top down, like you're not ready. We ride, about that. So high, we see the whole city. We own the night.
What is up, everybody? Welcome to a Monday edition of the YSN Power Hour. DJ Oakley alongside a few of my friends across the board. Guys, it has been a fantastic weekend for me. How was your weekend? We'll start with you, Billy.
Good. Just good. Nothing happened. It was nice and relaxing, and we had Astro tryouts, and that was about it.
Very cool. Let's go over to a big box and Jeff and Quinn. Look at that dynamite haircut, Mr. Betos. Where'd you get that?
Dude, shout out Clientele. Best barbershop in Mahoning County.
Bar none.
Bar none.
Dynamite. You're looking fresh. You're looking fly. And then you got YSU baseball guy next to you. Quinny, how was your weekend?
Yeah, it was great. It was a great weekend for us.
Looks like Quinn got a haircut too.
Did you get a haircut?
Shaved his beard.
Yeah, I did it myself in my basement. So.
Would you consider yourself one of the best barbershops in all of Mahoning County?
Absolutely, and I'm free. So,
On all honesty, Jeff, they did a great job on your hair. So shout out to our sponsor, the Clientele. Just unbelievable work, and they're great guys too. Mike, how was your weekend?
I had a pretty good weekend. It was all right. Didn't do so hot in the golf course, but, you know, it is what it is.
Muncie, how about you?
It's terrible. I had to come
Welcome
back
home.
I had to come back to Ohio.
Welcome home. Ty Bartell, how was your weekend?
It was good. Everything kind of went smooth. I mean, for sports, Indians swept the Tigers this weekend, and we had some good sports with basketball. It was also nice seeing the Blazers make it. I'm excited for that first-round matchup with the Lakers, too. So.
And then we have our main man, Anthony Malone, with the backwards hat on. I dig it, man. You look pretty slick today.
Well, there's kind of chaos in the front here, so we're just going to let it run. Anyways, my weekend, you guys, none of it said it. One word, Stipe. Stipe. Retained the title. That was big for me. I enjoyed that. And it was a great fight, I mean, overall. So.
Well, let's be honest. You're one of the only UFC guys, like hardcore UFC guys, on this entire panel. So congratulations, Mr. Stipe. And then we are on to Anthony Hartwig, fresh off the airwaves on Running Point. Anthony, how was your weekend?
No, my weekend was really good. You know, I watched some Royals baseball. They had a doubleheader on Saturday, split with the Twins. And, I'm just looking to watch actually being able to root for something. It's just fun to kind of be on the DC and then watching something actually and working out.
You're real digitized. I don't know if that's across the board or not. But
I heard it too.
Yeah, that
okay.
was.
It looks like
it almost sounded like you were on Friday.
Oh,
kind of sounded like you were on Friday.
Well, that's what happens when you have three idiots on one internet. So that goes that way. And you guys can argue in that corner who the idiot is amongst you. Oh boy, here we.
YSN headquarters going down fast.
Let's go to guys. It is National Thrift Shop Day all across America. Do you have a thrift shop purchase that you made that you're really excited about? We'll start with you, Mr. Billy Mack.
I've never been to a thrift shop.
Really?
No.
Never popped tags?
No, I don't have anything negative or good or bad to say. I've never been. So I'll have to go do that today.
All right, Jeff Bezos, have you ever been to a thrift shop? And if so, have you ever made a big time purchase?
It's like Plato's thrift shop. Is that like Plato's Closet in Boardman? Is that like a thrift shop?
Isn't that for women?
No, there's guys. You know the guys.
Suits him even
like,
better.
Like, oh wow, thanks, Michael.
You're welcome.
I grew up a little bit, but like if I was that considered like one, like my sister worked there, saw a bunch of like free like Nike, brand new Nike polos that people brought in.
I am going to turn off everything on my internet right now because I don't know what is going on, but this is garbage. Hot garbage. I can't hear you guys, and I'm 30 feet away from it. But that's no. We could barely hear Betos anyway. Make out what it's English or not.
Wow, that's mean.
It wasn't mean. It's true. It's not mean if it's true. That's what I always said. So, hopefully that's better. Mike, have you ever been to a thrift shop?
No, I have not.
Okay, Paul, this is not going the way I thought it would go.
Yeah, no, I've been to the thrift shop before. I thought you saw Christmas sweaters, ugly Christmas sweaters there. That's what I've bought.
Okay.
I don't have any good strong fringe game though, but it's all right.
Ty Bartell.
I usually, if I'm going to thrift shops, I'm usually looking for bobbleheads because I usually collect a lot of baseball bobbleheads. One that I was pretty proud of, I got recently, about a month ago, I was able to get a Jose Ramirez and a Francisco Lindor Mahoning Valley Scrappers bobblehead. And with that team looking to be going away soon, I think that's a pretty cool purchase.
If you like bobbleheads, I got to take you to Bertolini's house. He's got like 1,000.
Yeah, that'd be cool. I'm into those old bobbleheads. Any kind of bobblehead, really. Sports figures, all that. I enjoy it.
Emil or Danny?
Emil.
Okay. Respect. Anthony Malone, you have to have a thrift shop story.
I do. Well, for me, I use it as a way for like cheap golf clubs. If you want like a putter or something, I got a little golfing green. I'm left-handed, so no one can use my clubs for down there on the practice green in the basement. So you got to go to the thrift shop and get yourself the cheapest imaginable putter for the righties. And yeah, you can get that. I've gotten, at the Austintown thrift shop that's now gone, rest in peace. That you used to get all just T-shirts just for fun. Or if you go to Goodwill always has just anything. You can get plates, cookingware. I mean, not for me, but you can.
I've seen it done. I've seen it regifted where people buy it from the thrift shop and do it for Christmas gifts, like you said, and then nobody knows the better until like 10 years down the road when they kind of go, "Ooh, you really did that to me."
Well, yeah, you donate it, and then you get what you want it again. You go back, pick it up, and then regift it. Perfect.
That's it. All right, let's try this again. Anthony, can you hear us? And have you ever been to a thrift shop?
I can hear you. You're cutting a little bit, but I can make out what you're saying, which is important. Yeah, in Missouri, when we go every year, it's thrift shop central down there. I mean, you can't drive 10 minutes without seeing a couple thrift shops either direction. So there's one big flea mart down there that we used to go to every year. It's closed now. But it was the same concept as a thrift store. You go there, there are a bunch of vendors that selling their stuff there. There was a wooden sign, kind of like the same concept of the wet floor sign where it folds out and you set it on the floor. Yep. And it said, donate $1 to help send handicapped children to school. So that was, I mean, you can't get a more funny sign than that.
I'm with you 100%. I've only been to a thrift shop a few times in my day, but I've bought a few things. Funny enough, I bought one of my favorite jerseys from there. It was an Albert Bell jersey, and it was like 90 cents, something like that. It was almost a pretty legit, authentic jersey, better than the ones you get from overseas. That was my thrift store. Try to say it 3 times fast. Boys, I don't know what to say about this. 2-23 hours until a decision is made one way or the other by Governor Mike DeWine for sports and high contact sports. That includes football, soccer, and field hockey. We call it lacrosse around these parts. We still don't know exactly what he's going to say. There's a lot of people pointing to the green arrow, and there's a lot of other people pointing to the fact that he came out on Thursday and had the discussion about the heart problems that athletes could potentially have in the future. Why would he bring that up prior to a decision being made about sports? This is going to go either way, and there's a lot of people that are trying to hedge their bets based on the narrative they want to hear. What do you think we're going to hear tomorrow? We'll start with Billy.
It could go one of 1,000 ways. It feels like at this point. I think I'm just prepared for anything at this spot. I could see him just saying, "Hey, you know what? We tried. We're just going to go ahead and shut it down." I could see, "Hey, we're going to go ahead and push through this." I don't really know, and there's just too many opinions from the masses saying why we should, why we shouldn't. Even inside the Ohio Department of Government, people were saying one thing, and then lieutenant governors coming out and saying another thing. So I don't think we have a straight arrow here of information.
Gwen, your thoughts on what you think we'll hear in 23 hours from now? What will we be talking about tomorrow at this time?
Nothing. I'm gonna go. He's not gonna bring. He's gonna make a recommendation about something, and then we're gonna have to try to follow that. So that's basically it. He's not. I don't think he cancels it does anything with it. I know.
You guys frozen. Okay, Quinn, what's your take?
I think he's going to say something about just like push through it and we'll figure it out from there. I really don't think there's anything else to do at this point.
Mike, down to you.
I think that what we heard on Thursday from these doctors might have been a stunt, and in my opinion, that I'm not saying that that's what it was, but it could have been a stunt to get these ADs to either go behind the scenes and tell the one, we're in favor, of shutting this thing down, or have these schools say, let's postpone to the spring. Maybe something similar to what Kevin Warren tried to do at the Big Ten level, get this emergency meeting together, have all these other conferences canceled. I think that was a possibility of what went on Thursday. Honestly, I could flip a coin and then I'd say, heads they cancel it, tails they don't, whatever it lands on, I'd bet that. I have no clue what's going to happen tomorrow. I think any rumors that might come out, I wouldn't believe them. Nobody knows.
You've been close to the vest a little bit, and you've got a lot of intel. What are your thoughts?
I think he's going to come out and just let us play. I think that there's too much heat he's going to catch. I mean, he caught heat for the spring, obviously, and that upset a lot of people. But if he would shut football down and soccer and these contact sports right now, he would have an absolute riot on his hands, I think. I mean, he's delayed it this long. If you were going to do it, he should have done it a long time ago. Why let these kids keep practicing and going the way they're going to go? And obviously, you and I sat in meetings this morning, and according to a lot of the ADs that we've talked to, I mean, they think we're going to play. Most of them think it could be a limited amount of play just because of what could happen when you get all the kids in school. Some schools started today. There's a couple schools that started today. The rest, I think, are going to start next week, if not the week after. So when you start putting all those kids in the school building together, whether it be on a limited, like every other day kind of schedule, or if everybody's just going all together at once, that's when you're going to start seeing some kids catch something. Whether I believe it's COVID or not, I don't know. That's a whole other topic. I think that, a lot of this stuff is just a bunch of hoopla. So, but I think he's going to let us play and then go from there.
Ty, you've been kind of the Grim Reaper since day one on this. What's your thoughts on which way this thing's going to go?
I hate to disagree with you, Paul, but I mean, I try to look at it from a realist perspective. And the way I look at it, I don't understand why he would call this a week in advance saying we're going to have breaking news Tuesday unless it was bad. I don't know. That's just the way I look at it. Why would you plan ahead? Like, if you're going to just have them play, just come out and say that we're going to play. And I am in agreement with you, Paul. And I've said that since day one, that if they're going to cancel the season, this should have been done weeks ago. You should not pull the rug out from under these kids who is already practicing, already exposing themselves to each other. And, whatever, if you want to say possibly getting COVID, okay, fine. But I mean, you shouldn't let them practice for weeks on end before pulling the rug out from under them. I don't know.
The kids in Beaver Local and East Liverpool are expecting to play a soccer game this coming Friday.
Exactly. And I don't know. The way I see it is like if you're going to make this announcement that we're going to have breaking news,
now,
I don't know if I can see it as something good. I hope it is. I mean, don't get me wrong. Like I would be pleasantly surprised if we're able to play the season, but I don't know. I'm just trying to look at it realistically, and it's like I don't know why they would have breaking news. We're gonna have an announcement on college football on Tuesday if you're not gonna cancel it. But I mean,
I don't think he knew this time when he made the announcement that he had his decision ready and he was going to wait till Tuesday to announce it. I still think that there's a decent chance he doesn't know what he's going to say.
I think what he should do, honestly, and I think this is, I mean, some schools are experimenting with this or are going to experiment with this. I think the best thing to do is, and we've talked about it before, is across the board, all high schools, you're going online for the first 9 weeks. But then let the sports, because right now, football is only with football kids, volleyball is only with volleyball kids, and so forth with all the sports. Let the sports be with each other when they're at school and practicing, but then everybody's going to learn at home, because now you're not exposing those non-sports kids to the sports kids to where they can get sick, because then everybody's kind of in like little bubbles. We're already seeing that with, baseball or not with baseball, I'm sorry, with like basketball and hockey, little bubbles. Now with the schools, you've got concentrated little bubbles instead of all the kids going together, and then all of a sudden now you got to go to your respective sports and you've been exposed to other kids. If he comes out with that, as much as I don't want to break it up with the kids and go back online again, I think that would be the best bet to keep your sports going.
You can't do that, Paul, because it didn't do baseball. They screwed baseball over, then you're just looking at it's all for the money at that point. You can't do that. Like, if you're not going to be in school,
I think that now and where we're at now is different than back in March, because we know a lot more about this than we did on March 14th.
Do we? Do we know a lot more? Well, nobody's showing me that they know any more than we knew back in March.
That's the point.
I mean, I'm saying about the. I mean, I don't think they do, but that's the argument that's going to be made about this bubble. That's the argument that could be made about making the bubble, because they've got the heart studies now.
You can bubble as much as you want. You can bubble as much as you want, right? But the proof is that the NBA bubbled, and it was just the NBA players, and they tested no positive. Now you add families into that bubble. Let's see what happens now. I mean, we had the argument last week about
sign a waiver and let's play.
See, and Paul and I talked about that. We like it. But think about it. It's not exactly as easy as signing a paper. When your life is potentially on the line, it's a little bit more difficult than that, and there's a little bit more language, legalese, if you will.
Well, you could probably make it a paragraph. You could say, okay, you as a parent sign this thing. Okay, Billy, I'm responsible for Billy if he gets COVID or he dies or gets sick. Sign the paper, let him play.
Would you sign that paper?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I would.
Knowing that your daughter has a chance to potentially get something that's it.
She's got potential to get it when we go to the grocery store, when we go to the mall, when we go out to eat.
But it's increased, wouldn't it? Would it not be of con? I mean, did anybody see? And I put it on my personal social media. But anybody see that Massachusetts outline of what they're doing for soccer?
It's pathetic.
It's disgusting. It's disgusting. Any intentional contact is considered a foul.
And that had to be a joke, right?
Nope, that was legit. And here's the thing: is I learned, because I'm not a soccer guy, that 2 fouls, 2 yellow cards make a red card.
Yep.
Yes.
So, dude, anytime you intentionally, and by intentional, it could be accidental. 2 of those and you're done. You're toast.
Every foul.
And the amount of penalty kicks that are going to result from this are going to extend the game out so much longer, and you're exposed to these kids for a longer period of time.
There's a lot of states doing that too, because in Vermont for football they already signed it in too to do 7-on-7 football with no blockers whatsoever, and then outdoor volleyball is going to be played on either concrete or sand, or indoor volleyball is going to be played on either concrete or sand outdoors instead of indoors.
Anthony's shaking his head down there. He doesn't like that at all.
There's such a difference between sand volleyball and
I understand that. I'm just saying that this is what Vermont is doing.
Go play in the sand. It's like,
here's one of the interesting things, guys. We, as a company, YSN, are taking the proactive approach that if, and that's a big if, football is axed and soccer and lacrosse is axed tomorrow, we are looking to do a 7-on-7 football league on our own. So we've already started the kind of grassroots effort to be able to do this. So if there is no official high school tackle football, we will be looking to bring in the high school equivalent on 7-on-7 football. And Ty, as you said, this is something that is used all across the country in the off season to make sure that everybody stays in football shape and football mode. Texas, this is a absolute staple inside of high schools that they do for the other 9 months outside of tackle football season. If you were in a situation, you were a high school or you have a high school athlete and you're a parent of, would you sign your kid up for 7-on-7 football, given that it's a little bit different contact level than tackle and what you're used to seeing on Fridays and Saturdays? Billy, back to you.
Yeah, I think if that's the only option. If I can't play football or my kid can't play football for high school, and he's a football player. I think I'm trying to find something like this. I remember, like, what was that, like, quarterback club where they used to do all kinds of drills and they used to compete back in
Elite 11.
What was that?
Elite 11 was like the top 11 quarterbacks in the nation.
Yeah, you guys would probably think of something like that for like a lineman. Linemen obviously wouldn't be able to do anything 7-on-7 wise, but there's probably something real creative here if we all put our heads together and kind of.
Just do a lineman camp. Just do they have them all over.
I think you'd want to do something competitive. You wouldn't just want to hold a camp. A camp.
Well,
That's what I mean.
Everybody can hold a camp, but doing something competitive and keep it going might be something cool.
Make it like a strongman competition.
That's
pushing the car, flipping tires.
Yeah. We're gonna get a Cub Cadet in the backyard, and they're gonna have to deadlift the Cub Cadet. I mean, we're just thinking of outrageous things, but even more so, and I got to give credit to Coach Foster from East Palestine for this, because he came up with this on Saturday. We kind of talked about it. Just having a 7-on-7 lineman league would be unbelievable, because then you'd be able to see the agility, maybe seeing some hands or some other skills that you're not used to seeing from an offensive or defensive lineman. Can you guys get behind a league like that?
If it's all there is to watch, why not?
No.
Billy Mack, the big boys need love too, okay?
I love the big boys, but I just can't. I think of, like, my guys in high school, and there's no way in hell I'm watching that.
I would watch 100.
Not my guys. I don't. Some schools are a little different.
You got
Bigger
7
schools.
Jeff Bezoses. I'm watching that all day.
Well, I might watch that for the comedy.
You
All
might
right,
not
sit down.
understand what they're saying,
We just
but-
lost about 13 viewers right there, Jeff. Thanks, appreciate it. Also, I want to update people online who are trying to get through on social. We are having some technical difficulties. Obviously, we cannot see the comments right now. It is not a Comcast issue. It is actually a issue through who's actually utilizing this, which is StreamYard. So we're working to get that all sorted out.
Finally, some internet issues that aren't mine.
Yeah, Kerry already said, how does YSN have worse internet than the Munsons?
Yeah, Robert Switka said Oklahoma drill for the competitions that you could do.
That would be the worst drill I think we could ever do in today's day and age. So it's going to be interesting. I mean, 7-on-7s. I mean, Anthony, you've seen these before. You might have even been part of it. Is this something you can get behind?
So for me, we used to go to Mount Union for a 7-on-7 camp, and we would spend the entire day playing 7-on-7 with teams around the area. It's a lot of fun. Is it as intense as a contact tackle football game? It's not. However, you run the same routes. You run the same plays that you would normally run in a passing scenario. So you would play teams, and you would be surprised who's very competitive at 7-on-7 and not the same when it transitions to contact football. It can flip. It's not that impossible for it to happen. I've seen it many times. Teams that didn't win a single game in 1 year during the actual varsity football season are winning all kinds of 7-on-7 competitions and camps. So it's a lot of fun. Is it as intense? That's up for the viewer to decide. But it is going to make you a better football player. It's proven in every other state that runs a 7-on-7 in the spring. It produces better football players because you have more time with the playbook and you have more times to run your routes. It's just natural.
Anthony Hartwig, would you want to see something like this in the fall if football does happen to get nixed?
Yes, and for the good reason, Anthony will develop football for the other skills and grow as an athlete, as a football player. 7-on-7 is road developmental. It's going to teach you the playbook. It's going to teach you the ins and outs of football. And I think that'll be beneficial to a lot of the skill position players on both sides. Learning the game and developing not just their athletic ability, but their football IQ. And I think that's a good payoff if we can have normal contact 11-on-11 football.
Does somebody have like a lawnmower going in the front yard? I just
That's
got
great.
Muncie muted. I can't tell if it's him or not, so I muted him just
Don't
in
look
case.
at me. It's not me. I got nothing but like a waving flag in the background making noise here.
Ah, Billy muted himself. We saw that. Got him. He's got Kate in the back trying to mow the grass. Kate, I can't do it. I hear it. I hear you over there. All right.
Yeah.
was
Sorry,
really
Paul.
it.
Sorry, Paul. It's okay.
Sorry, Paul.
Thank
We're
you.
used to the waves crashing down around us.
That's right.
The smooth calmness of
I was totally
Myrtle
down to let Paul own that one.
Beach. You
for
were
the
gonna,
record.
dude. There was a bus
Yeah,
coming.
Thanks. Thanks.
All right, we're gonna take
Here, Anthony.
We're close enough to a break that we're gonna take one here. When we come back, we're gonna talk about, will the argument change if high contact sports are axed and the others are not? That's going to be an interesting conversation because there wasn't much of a peep when baseball and softball and track seasons were nixed. So we'll see if you think the argument will change if football and the other high contact sports are canceled tomorrow. Again, we're going to say how many weeks will we actually see. We're going to give you an over-under, and each one of our panelists will give you their prediction if it's up or down on our official over-under. Also, we have a greatest golfer again in the Valley. We'll tell you who that is and more. We're also going to talk to you about YSN Boot Camp, and one of my favorite stories of the day, the New York Giants head coach is laying down the law out in Jersey. We're going to tell you about him and why he's my new favorite head coach in the National Football League. All of that and more, including your G. Burbick Farms beef of the day. We'll be back right after this on the YSN Power Hour.
Your teams work hard and give it all they've got. Well, so does ours, because 21 Sports and YSN give you extra effort when covering local sports. 21 Sports and YSN, winning coverage of our Valley's teams.
Planning a project around your home or rental property? Trust the electrical service to the local experts with 62 years of serving the Mahoning Valley. Joe Dickey Electric is your local go-to source for responsive, reliable residential electrical work. From everyday maintenance and repairs to new installations, electrical upgrades, and safety inspections, no job is too big or too small. Call Joe Dickey Electric today, 800-549-3976, or visit DickeyElectric.com. That's DickeyElectric.com.
Myers Family Insurance knows the importance of a great team.
Our team continues to grow to help you with your Medicare and retirement needs.
The annual election period is here, so it's all hands on deck to make sure your plans still meet your needs for 2020.
Call us today.
Hello, I'm Greg Burbick with G. Burbick Farms. For the last 100 years, my family has farmed in the Columbiana and Mahoning counties. I began raising cattle in 1996 with the goal of providing a better product for you and your family on the dinner table. Our grass-fed and grain-supplemented Black Angus beef are raised with no hormones, steroids, or antibiotics. We're known for our hometown-friendly service and incredible tasting products. We're locally owned and have customers across the tri-state area. Our products go from our farm to your family. Stop by our farm on New Buffalo Road or visit us on the web at gburbickfarms.com. Don't forget to like us on Facebook. G. Burbick Farms, it just tastes better.
And welcome back to the YSN Power Hour, coming at you live from the HughesNet Gen 4 studios in East Palestine, Ohio. Off the terrible internet that we're having, the connections. It is, again, the YSN Power Hour. Guys, before the break, we talked about a lot about what can happen, the potential for this decision that is to be made in about 22 and a half hours. We talked about 7-on-7, but here's my question to you, and something not anybody's really thinking about at this moment because they're still hopeful for every season to have their season. Will the argument change for parents, fans, and the like if high contact sports are axed? And what I mean by that is you're still going to have volleyball, you're still going to have the sports that are in right now, golf, cross country, and tennis. But if you don't have football, lacrosse, and soccer, does it turn into a, well, why are they allowed to play and we're not situation inside the schools? Anthony Hartwig will lead off with you.
I think it's going to be a two-sided thing because the people that aren't going to be playing are going to be saying, "Why can they play when we can't?" And then the other flip side, people that are parents of volleyball players, or parents of tennis players, parents of golf players are going to say, "Why are you going to turn this down when we've already been cleared?" Just because high contact sports aren't, they're going to feel rifted if you shut everything down. So there's going to be arguments on both sides if football and the high contact sports get axed. And no one's really going to be happy.
Anthony Malone, over to you.
I think it would be pretty devastating for a lot of parents who are looking forward to that season because a lot of them are three-sport athletes, as we talked about in previous broadcasts. There'd be a lot of unhappy fans, but at the same time, knowing that there's a limitation, but sports are not completely off the table, I think are going to it could be a lot worse. However, I feel, I mean, I didn't. We're kind of touching on this. I feel like we're going to be okay. Cases are down. In case you're one, if this is chronicalizing, cases are down as opposed to last week. So maybe that's a good sign. But if it is going to be axed, I think it's going to make a lot of people angry.
Ty, your thoughts?
I've always been one of those where if you're gonna do it for one sport, you got to do it for all and all extracurriculars. You can't. I don't know. It's one of those things. When I look at it, you gotta treat every sport fairly. But I mean, like we said, on the flip side, if it means for other sports to have their seasons that we have to cancel these three, would people be more on board with doing it? I mean, I don't know. And I mean, I'm not one of those that make the decision, and I'm glad that I don't have to make the decision on something like this, but it's tough because you sacrifice three people's sports or three sports to try to salvage other sports, or you go ahead and you go ahead with the season and you just hope, nothing bad comes of it. Because like I said, it comes down to those things where we say, if you want to sign a waiver or whatever to play. And I understand if you sign a waiver, the school's not responsible, but the school's still going to feel responsible if someone from any school, one death happens because of a virus. One death is too many for any kids. It doesn't matter if you sign a waiver or not. That school is still going to feel some type of responsibility saying we still had the season and we could have prevented this.
Paul Munson.
Yeah, I think you can't pull the rug out from those kids who are already playing. The volleyball, the cross country, the tennis, and the golf kids. You can't tell them now after they've already started their seasons, well, we canceled football and stuff, but now we're going to cancel you guys now as well. That's completely wrong. You've already approved them to play. Let them keep playing. If you decided the contact sports are not good to play, then that's your decision. You deal with those parents, and those parents are going to be upset, and they're going to try to say, well, we're going to try to play in the spring, or we'll do something else for you guys. These baseball, softball, and track and field kids could have had the same argument, because if the state would have came out and said, we're targeting May 29th, like they did, to start some kind of spring season, then OHSAA was ready to have a plan together to still continue to have a spring season. And we could have had it because obviously we had baseball and softball all summer long, and it seemed to do just fine. If you come out now and try to change the line with these kids who have already started, who are past that line, they started the finish line, they're gone. And now you're going to throw it ahead of them and say, now we're going to pull this back again. I think you're going to have to deal with a lot of heat.
Mike, you got the inside track. Your dad's an athletic director. I mean, what are your thoughts? What are you hearing? What are you seeing? And kind of what are you feeling at this point?
I wish I could tell you what I'm hearing, because I think that there's literally nobody at least athletic director or administrative level at any of these schools knows what the hell is going to be said by DeWine tomorrow. Everybody is on the edge of their seats for this announcement tomorrow. What I feel should happen if these high contact sports are axed, as much as it's wrong to pull out the rug from these kids that have already started their seasons, I think you got to be all in or all out with the cancellation. I don't think any of these seasons should be canceled, because all these kids have put in work this summer to go forward with a season, you should have axed this a week or two ago if you were going to do it at all. This is too late to make a final decision. But in my opinion, you got to be all in or all out. If this is the final decision, you got to say everybody's going or nobody's going. That's just my opinion.
Wow.
So, Mike, you'd be happy if they pulled your golf season away from you tomorrow?
I would be pissed as hell if they pulled the golf season out for me after we've already had a few matches. But you know what? You got to go all in or all out. I think everybody's going to be pissed, whether you started the season or you haven't yet.
Life's not fair, though.
Yeah,
I mean, it's not about fairness. It's about it. I mean,
but that's what
life's not fair.
You're saying it. Okay, if we got to be fair to everybody. If we're going to take their sports away, well, now we got to come take yours away too. No, you let me play. You leave me alone. Let me play because we've been doing it for 2 weeks.
Okay,
you don't have to be fair to everybody.
I can see your point. I just
how do you backtrack and you've already said those sports are safe, and now you're gonna have to come up with a reason why you're not playing, like why they're not safe anymore. You know.
I don't know. I just feel like you got to be all in or all out. That's just my opinion.
See, I think it's a case by case, and I hate to jump the snake here, but it's a case by case. I mean, I still don't understand, and this isn't anything against volleyball. See, we snake here.
What is jump the snake? I've never heard that. I've heard jump the shark. Never jump the snake.
Well, we snake our way back through the line.
Oh,
here.
You mean the line of people that we're talking about?
DJ,
there we go.
never been a point guard. That's why.
It's coming up with his own.
I still don't know why volleyball hasn't been moved to a contact.
I don't either, and I'm okay with it. But here's my concern: is that's the major one that everybody points at and says, I don't know why that one gets to play, but the football doesn't, or the soccer doesn't, because there's just as much touching of the volleyball as there is the soccer ball. My concern is the all or nothing mentality will absolutely kill everything. I mean, it'll kill everything, because if you don't look at it from a case by case basis, if you say, okay, no golf, okay, then you might as well just shut down all of the golf courses in the entire state, because why does an 85-year-old man get to golf, but a 14-year-old kid doesn't? When they're more, science proves, if we're looking at the statistics, science proves they're more apt to get the disease and perish from it. So I really want to go in on a case by case basis. But Jeff and Quinn, what do you guys think?
You got to. I'm with Mike. You got to cancel it all. If you cancel one, you cancel it all. But it's not a matter of that. I mean, like you said, why can an 80-year-old golf and all that stuff? That's fine. You got to think of the broad picture, though. What does golf do to help you get ready for basketball? Like how does that give you an idea of what?
Quinn, I'm gonna.
I mean, not to
give
mention
you a heads up. Not everything is supposed to get you ready for basketball.
Doesn't all resolve around
how
the
you
ball.
can work to get basketball to happen, to then proceed into the spring sports.
Nobody.
My question is, what's going to be their reason for canceling? If their reason for canceling football is it's a high contact, and then you add in the factor that all these kids are going to be together at school, that includes these golf kids that are going to be together at school, and then you go out on the golf course. You may be socially distanced, but I'm gonna be honest. In my golf matches, there are multiple times where there's less than 6 feet of distance between the other players I'm playing with. You transfer it to East Liverpool. They get it there, and then they give it to one of their football kids, and they're playing in Wellsville.
Mike's over here ratting on his own team.
I'm presenting a scenario. Presenting a scenario.
A scenario.
No, I'm saying I said at the beginning of this that
hypothetically speaking,
we're going to see Mike's dad come flying in and grab a hold of him and shut up.
He does that a lot.
Yeah, his dad's going to spear him like Terry Tate.
Yeah, we don't need a find out here, son. Be quiet.
Yeah, but I think that it depends on the reasoning. But I'm all in or all out. But the reasoning is what I'm going to be interested to see if they cancel high contact and let low contact go.
Quinn, I'm more interested in hearing about this whole getting ready for basketball thing. What's
Mr. Basketball coach?
You need to do something to proceed to see how you can act the next sport. How are you going to cancel football and then say, "Oh yeah, go ahead, go play basketball"?
Well, I
3
think
months away.
They're canceling it because
Time would. Coronavirus has been here since March, and we still haven't figured out football. Come on.
Well, I think we know where Quinn lies. It's all about getting ready for basketball. He doesn't care what is played as long as
You
basketball
got to do
is.
something to keep moving forward. You have to figure out something to move forward. And no offense to you, Mike, golf ain't going to do it. Golf ain't going to teach you how to move forward. In virus issue.
I'm not disagreeing with you, Quinn.
Golf is the only, to me, golf and tennis are the only ones that are.
I think they're the safest
feasibly safe at this point. If we're talking about contact.
Yeah, definitely.
Cross country, they run in a pack and they run into each other.
Well, and my thing with basketball is AAU. The only reason it was played, let's just, I mean, and this isn't against. Yeah, it's played for money. Like if you guys were guaranteed money, you wouldn't have played given the stipulations. Correct? Do you disagree?
No, I'm not disagreeing it. But we've also done AAU tournaments now for a month and a half, and it's worked out just fine. So why aren't we playing football?
I don't know. Because they're taking precaution, I guess is the best way to put it.
Hey, all I know, Eric sent me this text, and I agree with him. He said, Scotty taught us life isn't fair. So by Scotty's rules, life isn't fair. Deal with it.
That kid's got the quote of the century.
Dude, that was the best quote I've heard in forever. Let's go to Max Baseball Academy and the mower out front.
No, the mower's done.
Tell Kate, good job.
I think it's a case by case thing. I understand what Quinn's saying about getting ready for the next phase, but I don't necessarily think playing golf and these other things are take the attention away from getting ready. I would imagine there's people having a plan right now in place or moving towards a plan to make sure basketball and the winter sports are ready to go.
Somebody's calling YSN. I think they're trying to get through.
The one winter sport that really has to be seriously concerned has got to be wrestling. Wrestling's got to be just sitting there going, we're never going to wrestle again until next season.
I got to believe you're right. I mean, but here's the thing. If they play football, the only argument is there's more padding between contact, right? That has to be it.
Yeah.
I mean, you literally got those kids with a helmet and a I almost called it a lanyard. What are those things? They're not lanyards. They're called singlet. There we go.
Lanyard?
I think if they cancel wrestling, I think football is probably going to, not football, basketball is going to go along with it too. I would have to imagine that would be the case.
You got 3 months before you have to make a decision.
I know, but
We've had 5 months since you started.
But the thing is, with basketball-wise, talking about Quinn, what are they going to do about these open gyms that are going to start in September?
Sign a waiver. That's all we do. Sign a waiver, take your temperature.
So if there's no waiver for football, why would we all of a sudden do a 180 and sign a waiver for basketball?
Put a waiver in.
Why would that be the case?
Put a waiver in for football. It doesn't matter.
It does matter. Like, let's stop saying it doesn't matter. If it was that easy, Quinn, don't you think something would have been done by now?
You would think.
So what does that tell you? It's not that easy.
All I know, speaking on AAU terms, we've done, you sign your waivers, you take care of your stuff, you take your temperatures, all that stuff, take care of that stuff, and you're fine.
Yeah, because I think there's a lot of fear behind when you sign a waiver. But if, let's say, I'm just going to say, if a lawyer's son or daughter gets COVID and they look over this waiver and they go,
they'll find a loophole.
That's about as good as it's worth, because you're going to get your ass sued to Saudi Arabia. I mean, you're done. Because it's not that easy. If it was that easy, we would have done this a long time ago. You're telling me that the OHSAA, the government, hasn't looked into, well, if we just sign a waiver, we're good.
Yeah, because it would take all them off the hook, and they'd have had that out there. They've been running copies like that for days going, here you go, everybody.
There'd be more waivers printed than masks made.
Yeah, the schools would love to just have somebody sign a waiver and send their kid to school, because then they would still make money.
There's a lot of loopholes you have to jump through before signing a waiver and being confident that the kid that signed that waiver, if he gets COVID and suffers long-term problems, is not going to sue that school at a later time. A school's not going to be 100% confident if one of their kids gets COVID.
They're going to have a hard time.
They're not going to get sued.
They're going to have a hard time proving that they got COVID at the school.
That's true too. Yeah.
Well, they do this what is it called, tracing back, and they figure it out pretty quickly. If you see some of the athletics that we've seen, and I'm not going to give a particular case, but the Department of Health does it pretty quickly. They're able to isolate where it started, where it began.
I mean,
But
I think it's pretty easy to say that, my friend over here, he tested positive for COVID, and I was in contact with him, and then suddenly 3 days later, I contracted COVID. I think it's pretty easy to say that you got it from the
Sure, but we're talking about
friend
proving it in
that you're
court of
hanging
law.
out with in close quarters at the school.
That's a whole different issue. Proving it in a court of law, it's not what you know, it's what you can prove. We've seen the movies. Okay? So it's not,
Somebody was watching Law and Order.
So-and-so got it here, and I was with them at the school, doesn't necessarily mean that. And then is it your buddy's fault, or is it your buddy's fault? Who contracted it from your buddy, who contracted it from this guy, so where does the liability end up going to?
Guess who shows up
The
out of the
liability
blue?
goes to the school for allowing these kids to go back
To be around each other.
5 days, to be around each other, to be 2 inches from each other in the hallway.
Timeout.
That's where it goes to.
We're going to put a timeout on this because EB has popped up out of nowhere on his lunch break at work, and he wants to chime in. I'm just going to give you the floor. Go ahead.
Colin?
I do. So some of this is bothering me because I think you guys miss a point. If you cancel football, then you almost have to cancel every other sport because the bigger picture is you didn't give those kids the same opportunity to join the sports like soccer, golf, or anything like that, and it's going to cause a huge uproar, especially that you're 3 weeks into it. You're essentially a week or two from open season. So if you go and you go ahead and you cancel football, you're going to have the majority of these people that are going to be pissed, and they're going to go, well, if we knew there wasn't going to be a football, then I would have had little Tommy go play golf or soccer or something like that. How can you say you can have these ones, but you can't have those ones? And, the whole thing with the waiver works. Now, yes, you're always going to find people who find the loopholes, but the waiver is you assuming the liability, that you understand everything that's going on, and you're assuming that liability, and you're okay with it.
Can I just preface? The waiver has worked so far. You guys, let's say you get a case in a month of, hey, we need to trace it because, or in a week, that we need to trace back, and they get it from an AAU tournament, and then all of a sudden they go, by the way, you guys didn't protect from this, and this, and they sue you 6 ways to Sunday. Then come back and you can tell me that the waiver has worked, but you haven't been contested, correct?
No, but we haven't had any problems.
So, but if there is a problem, it can be contested, and chances are they'll probably win.
My thing, I have a problem with EB's first comment on there about you didn't give these other kids a chance to join that sport. That's crap. I'm just going to say now, if little Billy over here is playing football and all of a sudden football gets stopped and he goes, well, you know what? I want to go play golf now. Well, let me go try to play golf. No. You can have dual sport athletes in high school and in the fall. You can play golf and you can be a football player. You can run cross country and be a football player.
Paul, you know better than most that's not true at every school.
That's not true at every school. It's not true at every school.
It might be true at South Range and these smaller schools were around, but when you go, we'll go pick North, one of the biggest schools and one of the better schools in the state or anything like that, then how can you sit there and say, yeah, well, you could have been a dual sport athlete when really you couldn't have been? It works better for the small schools, but it doesn't work better for the big schools.
And my thing is, if you're in a fall season, you pick one sport and you give 100% of your dedication to that sport.
No.
That's my mentality.
No,
Because
if you're an elite athlete and you want to play multiple sports, I can think of one from Poland right now that she plays 2 or 3 sports in one season. And she ran for a state championship, and then she played on the softball team for a state championship. I mean, how do you say you can't play that sport because you're not 100% dedicated?
I'm not saying
garbage.
you can't. I'm not saying you can't. I'm
Just
saying my personal mindset would be, if I'm playing a sport personally, I don't want to play another sport in the fall season because I want to be 100% in on this one sport. I'm not saying that has to be a mandate and you have to have that same mindset. I'm just saying that's my personal mindset.
Yeah, no, but
that's my personal opinion.
But we're getting off track of what he's saying. He was saying if you put all your eggs in one basket and then they take that basket away, you should be able to take your eggs, go somewhere else. My point is unless the school doesn't offer it. I'll be honest with you, I wasn't aware that all schools didn't say if you want to be a dual sport athlete that you only have to play one sport. I wasn't really aware that the other schools didn't do that, whether they're bigger or smaller. But you shouldn't be able to say, well, now I want to go over here and play. No, their season already started. You had a chance to go be on that team. You lost your sport. Too bad.
Anthony Malone, you have 2 cents on this?
Well, for me, I mean, I'm all for dual sport athletes. It's depends. I mean, some coaches just aren't a big fan of it, and I think it's important for a lot of smaller schools. I don't know how, like we were saying earlier, I don't know how, if we don't have football, how we have basketball in the winter season. Winter is the most contagious season of all the medical fields. So that's the biggest step that we need to hurdle. If we're going to have football, that's a good sign for basketball, but it's a matter of, is this going to get better or not? And I can tell you as soon as September hits, I think September is going to be a pretty do or die year for athletics in the entire nation, let alone the entire planet Earth. So I'm just hoping the best that we can, that we actually have football here.
We are solving the Earth's problems one step at a time here on YSN Power Hour. Guys, let's do this. How many weeks will we actually see? And let's just put high school football at the forefront because everybody else is. The over-under is 3. Are you taking the over? Or are you taking the under? Let's go down to EB.
I'm gonna go over. I think they make it 2 weeks into September or about the 4th week, and then it's gonna get axed from there. That's my personal take. I hope it's 10 weeks or the 6 weeks and the 7 weeks of playoffs, whatever they have knotted. But I think you're gonna get 2 weeks into, or August, when's it start, next week or 2 weeks away?
2 weeks.
I think you get about 4 games, and then the second or third week of September, they're just gonna pull the rug out from everyone and say, hey, we at least tried.
Anthony Hartwig, over under 3 weeks.
I'm going to say in the state, as far as football around the state, I'm going to say over 3 weeks. I don't think every team is going to be able to play all 3 weeks without getting a case of that shut down. But I think the state's going to go as long as they can go. I mean, if they have to have playoffs with teams that are 2-2 and they've missed 2 games or whatever, then that's why they made everyone get in the playoffs, because all 6 games to get in the playoffs.
It's a cute idea, but I don't think it has anything to do with that.
I think the over-under in the state will be 3. I doubt every team, especially in our area, will play all 3 weeks.
Anthony Malone, 3 weeks, over or under?
I'm saying over. I'm saying 6 weeks is probably going to be the maximum. They probably will play the full season, and then they will stop and not commit to the playoffs. If not this year's playoffs, who knows? But I think it's just going to be 6 games.
We're going to go to Ty Bartell, over under 3 weeks.
I'm going to say over if they are going to do like the online schooling and they're just going to keep football people with football people. I'll say under if all schools go back and there's all that.
Don't get on the fence. No. You pick over or under, little man.
Come on, be loyal to your commitment here. Come on.
Oh, wow.
That we could have a
no.
discussion on that. Right now, if schools are going back, which I think they are, I'm going to say under. If schools are going back with everyone in the school, I'm going to say under.
All right, Paulie, over under 3. Oh, wait, hang on. You're muted. My bad. Sorry.
Yeah, you muted me. And
you had a windstorm. I'm sorry. What do you want me to do?
Sorry. No, I say I get somebody stole my thunder down there. EB, it's going to go 4 weeks. I think 4, because that's 2 weeks into when kids go back to school, and you're going to see cases start popping up. So over 3, I say we go 4 weeks.
Michael,
can I actually bet that actual 3?
Yeah, it's called a push.
Okay, then I'm gonna push.
All right, let's go up in the top corner. Quinn, over under 3.
I'm gonna go.
Thanks, Quinn.
I'm gonna. Sorry, Quinn just pointed right at me. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go 4 weeks, and yeah, I'm gonna go over easily.
Oh.
Sorry, I had nothing else after that. I lost it.
Quinn, please help us.
Oh, please. Yeah, I'm going over. I'm going 4 weeks. Week 4 is what's going to make it. You're either, if you play week 4, it's going to last a full season. If not, you're done. It's over. I'm going 4 weeks, so I'm taking the over.
Billy Mack.
I'm going under and expecting bad news tomorrow. I just don't see it.
I'm going under as well. I am going to, I've said it before. I think that if they didn't have that doctor on Thursday, I think we would be fine. I have a hard time believing that they're going to have that guy on a Thursday and say, "Go for it, guys. Your heart is your problem." I just really have a hard time believing that's going to happen. I do. And I hate to be the bad guy. I hate to be the person that doesn't believe, because I really want this to happen. We've worked really hard internally to be ready for the season. But you have to look at context clues, right? That's what you learn in school. You look at context clues, and that's like saying, "Hey guys, death is right here, but we're gonna play anyway. Good luck." You know what I mean? I can't believe that he would do that to himself, because he looks like an absolute, well, as my buddy Jeff would say, scumbag, if he lets that happen. And he's supposed to protect our lives, and be the governing body of what we do internally. So it'll be interesting. One of the things we definitely got to get to is the greatest golfer, guys. A lot of us know him. A lot of us love him. His name is Brandon Pluchinski, and he wins the greatest golfer for the 4th time in 11 years. Is this considered a dynasty for Plu? We'll go around. Who knows Plu, by the way? Everybody know Plu? Okay, so you know Plu. Is this a dynasty for greatest golfer? And is he, I mean, he's a hell of a golfer. One of the best I know. Is this a dynasty in your eyes? I don't care who answers.
Yes, I think so. Yeah.
No. You win 4 times. You win 4 times in 11 years. I think it's obviously a dynasty.
Yeah, and
no.
Pluchinski also has the record for most three-pointers in a game at South Range, so he can hoop it up too.
What does he have, Anthony?
He has the record for most three-pointers in a game, the official record.
Oh, okay, there we go. Yeah, it's not the real record.
Not the real record.
Oh boy!
Did he win the greatest golfer the last 3 years, or is it like? Didn't he take He obviously took 2 years off because of playing at YSU. Did he win? He did. He took a couple years off.
I don't know if he took off or not for that.
I don't know. But,
I know that he won it 4 times in 11 years. That's what it said.
I'm going to say no, just for the sole fact that winning 4 times in the last 11 years doesn't make you a dynasty. If we say he won it 6 times in the last 11 years, then yeah, I'm pretty much in. But I do believe that he's the best golfer in Mahoning County and Trumbull County.
And not Columbiana, though?
And Columbiana.
Okay.
Oh, you haven't seen me play golf.
No, I'm clearly the best golfer in Columbia.
Nuggies, the swing.
I don't know. I'd like to see,
I'm kidding.
him and this kid named Jared Wilson from Columbiana go head to head. I think that's
Jared Wilson's doggone good, but that's the thing is, Pluchinski he went to a 1-hole playoff, if I'm not mistaken, yesterday, and he put a ball 4 feet from the pin on the playoff hole. I mean, to quote David Rock, that's pretty sporty. That's Captain Clutch if I've ever seen it. So Plu it's got to be a dynasty, because if you're saying that it's not, are the Patriots really?
Yeah, because they won it back to back. You got to win it back to back. Did Plu win it back to back?
Yeah, he won it back to back.
Did he?
Last year and this year. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I think he won it 3 years in a
back,
row.
Yeah.
So it is a dynasty then.
If he won it back, yes.
To some, it's a dynasty to me. I wanted to see if anybody was on the other side. Jeff obviously hates the guy, so.
Oh no, I don't hate him.
We'll make sure Plu, when he does his golf show, goes 1-on-1 with the great one, and turns you sideways in your checkered pants.
Here's breaking news. I'm gonna actually agree. Where am I at? There we go, over there. There we go with him. I say no. 4 and 11, no. 5 or 6, I agree with Jeff.
So 6 and 20 is a dynasty, but 4 and 11 is not.
Well, no, I didn't say 6 and 20.
Are the Patriots a dynasty?
Yes.
Have they made it to 20 Super Bowls?
6 wins.
You're talking about 20 years.
In 20 years. Well, if you're going all the way back to the 85.
What do you think 4 and 11 is?
No. I say no. I'm just going to say no.
Okay.
The Patriots aren't a dynasty for the 20 years. They're a dynasty for the early 2000s.
He's a Florida State fan. He doesn't know what a dynasty is.
Uh-oh.
Oh.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow.
We ruled the 90s, so
The Hawks trying to avoid the Big Ten this year, huh?
One of the things we want to talk about, guys, YSN Boot Camp is scheduled, and the majority of faces that you see on this screen will be part of our fall plans in one way or another. So we are inviting you. If you ever thought that you could do what we do, join us at the YSN Boot Camp. It's going to be, I don't even have the thing. I closed all my windows. It's Wednesday, Thursday, and Sunday. from 6 to 8 here at YSN headquarters. You can go online, message us, or you can email info@ysnlive.com. I'm trying to concentrate with these jokers laughing
week?
on mute. So
Some kid almost just
Yes,
ate it in the parking
this
lot.
kid almost ate it in the parking lot. Got the speed whoop, bam, almost one time.
Dan.
Sounds like he's
There-
from Pittsburgh now.
There is
Ah.
so much jackassery in that, just on this top row, that it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
So again, if you want to join the jackassery here at YSN, come to the YSN boot camp that's scheduled Wednesday and Thursday and Sunday from 6 to 8. More info can be found on our social media pages on Facebook, on Twitter, as well as on Instagram. So we would
This
love
week?
for you to join us. Yes, sir.
This week. Okay.
And we might be taking for next week depending on the numbers. So again, if you want to join our team, it might be the only chance for you to see the game live and in person, other than paying for the pay-per-view price on YSN. So if you've ever thought about joining our team, now's the time to do it. So make sure you make arrangements and get here as soon as you can, guys. The last thing I want to talk about outside our G. Burbick Farms What's Your Beef? The New York Giants coach is quickly becoming my favorite coach in the NFL. Coach Judge saying, we're going to send the coaches running laps with the players because there's consequences for our actions, all of them. He also is taking names off the practice jerseys because they can make a name for themselves with what they do, not what they wear. I'm impressed. Are you? We'll start with Billy McCartney.
I dig it. I like any way of trying to keep a grown man in check at times and go rooting back to his roots. So this is what we're going to try to do. I'm behind it. I can get behind it. But
Jeff Bezos.
Me too. I'm 100% in on it. Kind of makes it, you hold the coach accountable and you hold the players accountable.
Quinn.
Yeah, I like it. I mean, it's a first-time head coach trying to make something out of nothing, I guess. The Giants aren't anything special, so.
Has Huxold ever made you and EB run with the players?
No.
Okay.
No.
Let's take it from a player's point of view. Do you like this, Mike?
I like it. It's a leadership kind of move. I like it. We'll have to see what he can do with the playbook to try to get the Giants to win. But from a leadership point, I really like what Joe Judge is doing.
All right, Paulie. How do you feel about this?
I think taking the names off the jerseys is great, but I think he's going to lose some coaches trying to make them run laps. I mean, not
their
all
lives or
not all
just...
Yeah, I don't think a lot of these NFL coaches are in the greatest.
Jason Garrett's probably clapping as he runs them.
What if Dick LeBeau was on his staff? Like, do you make Dick LeBeau run stairs?
Yeah, I mean,
like
Jesus.
Andy
Who's that big guy for the Browns?
Oh, gosh.
Oh, dude, he'd have
That's not, could you imagine seeing him trying to huff and puff around laps with those guys? Ain't no way.
Ty Bartell, what do you think of this?
I like it. I like the culture that he's trying to build with the New York Giants, who've had a culture of losing and a culture of of disgrace the last few years. I think that's a step into trying to build a good culture within the Giants organization. I also think that taking the names off the practice jerseys is a great way to keep the loyalty between players and make them realize it's not all about you. It's you got to be loyal to the team first.
Ty Bartell with a disgrace shot across right at.
Well, he's not wrong.
I mean, a disgrace is kind of some heavy gravy, isn't it?
The Giants won the Super Bowl in 2012. How many times have they been back to the playoffs since?
How many Browns fans would trade in a Super Bowl for 50 years of losing?
Well, they've had that many years.
I never said they weren't a disgrace.
I'm just saying, disgrace is heavy if you've won a Super Bowl in the last 20 years. So let's go down to Anthony Malone, see what he thinks about it.
They won 2 Super Bowls in 20 years.
Yeah, so for me, I think it's kind of I disagree with everything being mentioned here, because if you're the New York Giants coach, the first thing that you should be worried about is playing for how skillful are your players, and are we going to actually win some games this year? You're just taking away from the actual play on the field. Let's take off jerseys. Let's run laps. I mean, and then they can do that all year and lose every game if they want. That's fine. But in my opinion, I'm not a huge fan of it.
Anthony.
I like the the holding coaches just as accountable as you would the players. The old adage, don't do what you wouldn't do yourself. Don't ask them to do what you wouldn't do yourself as a leader. But the jersey thing is as good as it sounds. It's going to take a lot more than that to rip out the ego of a NFL player. So I don't know. It might be a little gimmicky, the jersey thing, but at least it sounds nice, and it's the thing that you can tell the media that you tried to do to kind of sway these egos on your team. I don't know how effective it would really be in the NFL with the egos that they have. to just say, hey, you're not going to have your name on your practice jersey. No one
EB is smirking.
What do I care?
He's waiting for this. He's ready to jump. Go ahead.
Dude. So if this was high school, I'd be all for it. And let's get something right. Chris Huxhold will never make me run until Chris Huxhold runs, which is never. So that'll never happen. Now, if this was high school, I would be all for it because you're trying to earn the respect. You're trying to build a program. But I'm with Malone. Dude, these guys are professionals. They're getting paid millions of dollars. If you do not know your job and what you need to do and that you're there to win, go find a new career.
I'm with it.
They don't
Love
win.
it. Listen, I can get behind it because, yeah, it is a little gimmicky, but it's different than we're seeing from other coaches, and I think that's why I get behind. It's new. It's something we haven't heard in a long time. I think Tomlin took away the TVs or the pool tables or something whenever the Steelers went on a losing streak. Like, that stuff, because these guys are treated so well. Like, the olden days, they didn't have TVs in the locker room and all that stuff, and not to go back in my day, but these guys are coddled so much. I mean, they don't even have to go home anymore. They can stay at the facility like it's a hotel. So, interesting enough, but I'm with you, dude. I just want to – if he messes up, does he run himself? I think the players and the coaches should hold him accountable too. So, let's go to our G. Burbick Farms What's Your Beef? We're in overtime, guys. So what do you have from a beef standpoint, EB? Since you're on the clock, quite literally, let's go to you first.
I'm going to go with, if you're a coach and you win humbly and act like you've been there before. Got to deal with a couple of people this week. They won a couple games, and they literally ran to the middle of half court, started flexing towards the stands, clapping their hands, and I don't know, just talking trash. And this was like 7th grade girls. So that's also kind of, I mean, I get it. People get excited as a last-second shot, but if you win, act like you've been there before.
Okay, Anthony Hartwig.
I'm going to keep it simple. Don't talk tough behind closed doors if you're not going to back it up when you're in front of the person you're talking about.
All right. This is the last time I ever do this. 2 Anthonys next to each other. Anthony Malone.
No, I was watching baseball over this weekend. Just realized Lindor's in one of his last 2 seasons of his current contract. I'd say sign the man.
All right, Lindor. Let's go to Mr. Michael McKenzie.
My beef is the fact that Justin Fields has showed more leadership over the past 48 hours than Kevin Warren has over the past 5 months.
Don't know who Kevin Warren is right now.
Big Ten commissioner.
All right, there it is. Let's go to Paul Munson.
My beef is with Mother Nature's creatures. Over the vacation, I was attacked by fire ants, and I got bit by a jellyfish. So I was kind of pissed off at the Mother Nature's creatures.
Fire ants.
Fire ants on the golf course.
Wait. You got stung by a jellyfish?
Yeah, I did.
Did you pee on yourself?
No, it hurt. It hurt, but it was on my leg.
Even worse, did Carrie pee on you?
No, nobody peed on me. By the way.
Okay.
Nobody peed on me. I made it to shore and just put a bunch of ice on it, and I got a nice big red mark on there. But actually, believe it or not, the fire ants hurt more. They got me on the golf course. It was a pain in my ass. It's hurt.
Wait, was the pain in your ass or was it somewhere else?
Okay, it was discomfort, but it was on my ankle. They were all over my foot and my ankle.
For clarity,
I
Ty
wasn't
Bartell, go ahead.
Sitting on the anthill, wiggling around or anything.
My beef is the same as my beef it was on Thursday. It's players that aren't loyal to the teams that draft them and the teams that have them on their program.
Any particular player?
Not any particular player, just players that aren't loyal.
Oh, the old double beef on a Monday. I get it. All right, we're up to Q and J.
You want to go first?
Yeah, I'll go first. Mine's with Patesta. He said the Lakers won't get out of the Western Conference. That's a joke.
He's right.
No, he's not. That's an absolute joke.
Okay. I'm up. Thanks, buddy.
When the other guy stops talking, it
I
means
know.
you're up.
I'm too out of it today. I've been on vacation. But no, my beef is with the one question you had that I didn't get a chance to answer was that you have to have football season to have basketball season because you got to see the numbers in football to be able to have basketball season. If you're not going to have football, there's no basketball, there's no wrestling in the winter. And yeah, it starts in 3 months. You have to figure something out, but also in 3 months, it's winter wine since it's going to be peak in the game. So have to have football season.
I see the shade you threw in that little beginning part of your
You didn't ask me
testimony.
you didn't ask me the question.
Let's go to Billy Mack.
I don't have any beef today with the expectations of having some big ones tomorrow.
Okay, so you're
stockpiling his beef.
Yeah, he's putting the beef in the freezer. I get it.
So I'm going to have a good day. I'm not going to be angry. I'm not going to end my show here, end the show being upset or angry. I'm going to have a great day. I'm going to go to work tonight, and then tomorrow I'll be upset.
All right, fair enough. My beef is I really don't have any. I do want to highlight kind of a positive beef, the fact that we have great opportunity here at YSN in this week. It starts with all the stuff that we're going to be running video-wise. We're going to be dabbling a little bit deeper into soccer. We're going to be getting deeper into volleyball, and we will have all your football for you here this fall if, and that's a big if, things go right tomorrow. So if you're pray to whoever you need to pray to that the football is past, the high contact sports are okayed, and we are going to have all of that and more on your show tomorrow. It's going to be a very intense episode of the YSN Power Hour tomorrow at 3 o'clock. You're not going to want to miss it because there's going to be some hype around it. And on a programming note, I will be on 640 with Ron Potesta, Gary Houstu, and Dana Bolish. 640 special tomorrow on Channel 21 WFMJ. That is going to be on their social media pages. And I will also be on the 8:30 special, the MLO Bros, and I think it's the Everything Poland page. If you can go follow the MLO Brothers. Hi, Billy Mack. He's got dogs. He's got mowers. He's got everything. I'm doing the whole circuit for us tomorrow, so make sure you tune into all of it because we've got a lot to talk about. But guess what? It all starts right here. If you want breaking news at 3 o'clock, make sure you take your lunch break a little bit deep tomorrow because we're going to have all of it, and we're going to have all kinds of response from all over the valley, from all over this panel, and we're looking forward to it. Guys, say see ya. We'll see you tomorrow, 3 to 4, right here on YSN.
Peace.
Bye.